Alright students, so this is your directions for your writing assignment. So this week you're doing a narrative writing. So remember, narrative means that you're telling a story. But it's not just any story. What you're going to do is you're going to choose one of the books or chapters that you've read this week, and you're going to continue the story. You can choose what you want to write the next chapter in the book to say, or you can write a different ending for the book. So if you finish the book, you're going to write a different ending for it. If you haven't finished the book, then you're going to pretend what would happen in the next chapter, and you're going to write that. So these are points you need to remember for narrative. Narrative has a clear purpose or a focus, so it should go along with the story. So it's well organized and it has a narrative point of view. So if the story's been told in first person, you need to make sure when you write, you're using first person as well. So you're using those I, we, my, me. If it's third person, then you're using third person words like he, she, they, him. You need to make sure you give details about the time and place, events and characters, that your language suits your purpose. This is going to be what you'll see with mine. And that you use correct spelling, punctuation, and grammar. So the story I read was because Samuel read it last week, and I was like, that's a good story to read since it snowed yesterday. It is The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. So this is where my story picks up. And then I rewrote the ending. So my story picks up right here. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. So this is where my story is going to pick up. Now, you'll notice with mine, it says use correct punctuation. But you'll notice I have capitals at the beginning of all of my sentences, even when it's not a complete sentence. Every line starts with a capital. And the reason why I did that is because you'll notice in How the Grinch Stole Christmas, every single line starts with a capital, even if it's not a brand new sentence. You're also going to see my language suits the purpose. You'll notice in The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, he has rhyming couplets. He has here, ear, snow, grow. So when I wrote, I had to make sure that my stuff rhymed as well with every line or every other line. Alright, so watch and listen to the new ending for The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. And what he was hearing, oh, of the sound, it was great music, and then a loud pound. They were clapping their hands, they were making their own bands, with nothing left in their houses. They were still being joyful, even the mouses. The Grinch strained his neck, but as he did, he forgot. He let go of the sleigh with all the presents he himself hadn't bought. He watched it go down, and at the end made a splat. He wanted his heart to grow 3 sizes, but instead it went flat. Oh, what could he do? He wanted this joy, and now he was sad, for he and they had not a single toy. He sat on the hill, the Grinch he sure did. He sat there so long that he actually slid. Down the mountain, his eyes becoming like a fountain. These wet little things falling from his face, he didn't know what they were, for they had never been in this place. How could they be happy? How could they not be so sad? And as he looked up, for he was now at the bottom of the hill, he saw a little Whoville girl with a mighty strong will. The Grinch braced himself for something, for what, he did not know, but the remorse in his heart had a sting, but the girl spoke like a regular pro. Oh, Mr. Grinch, you have finally come. We are so grateful you want to be our chum. Though we have no gifts to offer you, we sure hope that our gratitude will do. Be with each other is the best part of all. And look, we can still play catch with a snow baseball. The Grinch didn't understand, but maybe one day he'll learn just what the right words are to say. Now his cave is no longer his home. He resides with his dog Max, who he now brushes and combs, down that little town of Whoville with his own little mini grill. Alright, so that was my story. You'll notice I didn't type it out while I was writing because I figured that would have been too long. But you'll notice I used that clear language. I used his rhyming couplets and those short, simple sentences. My spelling was all correct, with the exception of mouses, because that's not a real word. It should be mice. But the reason why I used mouses was because I needed it to rhyme with houses. You'll also notice My narrative point of view stayed in that third person. So I had he, the Grinch, instead of saying I or we. And you'll notice I still stuck with the characters in the story. I didn't change the Grinch much because he's still at the end of the regular story. He still wants to be a part of Whoville. But I could have if I wanted to because it was my own ending. But I kept the events the same, the place, so the story didn't drastically change. Alright, if you would like to listen to the real How the Grinch Stole Christmas, it's below in the hyperlink in the description, as well as a link to the PDF if you would like to read it. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later.